There will be changes to the way Aberdeen schools help some students transition from high school to jobs.
An Aberdeen senior is on his way to DC to represent the state.
Need a summer job? The city is hiring.
And we share state wrestling results. Hi, I'm Jason Lopez Martinez.
And I'm Courtney Thorstensen, and you're watching Eagle Zone.
Some students in special education continue their schooling after their senior year through transition programs. The purpose of transition programs is to help students learn independent living, functional living, and work skills. They can stay in these programs three years until they're 21.
The way that looks is changing in Aberdeen. There are currently 2 years of a program called Transition Learning Community, or TLC. Ethan Stockhart has covered those in the past here on Eagle Zone. But there's also a 3rd-year job preparation called Project Search if students decide to join and are accepted in that program. But that's where the change comes in. In the future, there will be 3 years of TLC, but the 3rd year will still be focused on job preparation. Eagle Zone's Ethan Stockhart has been working very hard on this story and shares how this new program will look. Ethan?
Project Search is at the hospital. New Daily Mahima is in the program.
I like Project Search because I get to explore different jobs.
Next year will change.
The transition program will look a little bit different next year. We're going to change it up a bit and have our class size double, and all of the students will be in the District Service Center with the TLC and the TLC2 programs.
Some will be the same.
There'll be a variety of jobs that we will have to learn about work skills, and we hope that most of the time is spent out in the work environment, learning how to act on the job and gaining new skills to look for employment in the community.
I did grounds, so I went around and collecting garbage and helping rake leaves. I did housekeeping for a little bit, doing route, keeping stuff clean.
The teacher will be the same, Courtney.
Thank you, Ethan. And yes, that's right. The teacher from Project Search that you interviewed in your story will be part of this new transition program next year.
Golden Eagles art students are back with medals from the Regional Art Wars competition. These students had 2 hours to create artwork based on a prompt a judge chose. Every student who competed took home an award. This means all the students qualify for the state. You're running out of time to see student artwork displayed on Dakota Prairie Museum. Aberdeen Central High School Honors Art Show is at the museum until this Saturday, the 4th. It recently held a gallery open house with students on hand to explain their work and answer questions. If you want to see the paintings and drawings, the museum is open 10 to 5 during the week and 11 to 4 on Saturday.
5 more debaters have made it to nationals. This makes 14 national qualifiers. In Big Question debate, both Caitlin Ryan and Lily Williams qualify. In congressional debate, Rylan Johnson qualifies in Senate and Kayla Bringenberg qualifies in the House of Representatives. In Lincoln Douglas, Matt Ryan qualifies in the vacant spot after Lily Williams qualifies in Big Question. Debate is on its way to state later this week. The state tournament is the 3rd and 4th in Mitchell. We'll share results on the next show.
A senior leader from the debate team won't be competing at state. As his teammates try for a state title, Dustin Hermanson is on his way to Washington, D.C., where he will represent South Dakota in the youth program. Eagles' own Xavier Ness joins us with that story. Xavier?
Aberdeen senior Dustin Hermanson is one of 2 students in the state representing South Dakota in the 61st Annual Senate Youth Program. The opportunity comes with the scholarship money and could open doors for his future.
Last year I was selected actually as the first alternate for the United States Senate Youth Program, and so to get it this year, it's a really big honor for me.
Hermanson is attending the Air Force Academy after high school. He's going to focus his efforts on law.
And I want to be a JAG, which is a lawyer within the Air Force branch, and so getting the idea of like how public service works out at DC, and getting that experience that a lot of people won't be able to have, really will be able to set me apart from other kids, as well as, lead me into the more political service and law realm that I want to go into.
Since he is going into the Air Force Academy, he already has a full ride scholarship. The Senate Youth Program also leads to a $10,000 scholarship provided by the Hearst Foundation.
The $10,000 that I am able to get due to the scholarship will mainly go to like uniform fees and book fees and computer fees that the Academy doesn't pay for. So I'll be able to offset some of those costs.
Hermanson served as a page in the U.S. Senate in the past. This is huge for Hermanson and our school.
Getting to represent South Dakota really means something special to me because I've done it in the past. So getting to do it again and see and interact with kids all over the nation and show them what South Dakota actually has and what we're doing in South Dakota, that's really special to me.
Dustin's family is excited for him and his upcoming future. This concludes the final chapter for Hermanson at Central, and wish all the best for him and support.
Thanks, Xavier. Hermanson will be in DC from the 4th to the 11th.
As warmer seasons creep around the corner, summer jobs are blooming with opportunities. Eagle Zone's Delilah Golding shares what options might be waiting for you. Delilah?
It may seem far away, but the Aberdeen Recreation Center is already searching for new employees for the upcoming season, even though it may be a challenge.
We always struggle to find help in the summer, so definitely I hire around 50 to 60 staff every summer, so getting that number of kids and people to apply is definitely a challenge every year.
There are many different positions for anyone to apply for, including the Aberdeen Aquatic Center.
Most of our positions within our department and the recreation division specifically are ages 16 and older. We have some positions such as lifeguards, which I'll talk about in a little bit, that we can hire at 15.
And the Aquatic Center needs a lot of bodies too, 40 lifeguards alone.
Everybody wants to have fun in the summer, so that's my biggest thing is we try to have fun, but be serious about the job at the same time. So if you're looking for a fun, great place to work, I highly encourage you to come work out at Storybook Land this summer.
If jobs don't fill, it means fewer options in Aberdeen in the summer. There are some communities that have had to close parks because they haven't had enough help.
We haven't had to necessarily close the park. We've had to close areas of the park where we might not open a lazy river for a few hours or something to that nature, just because we don't have the lifeguards specifically that we need to cover all those areas without having to work somebody 80 hours a week. It is not too early to be thinking about summer jobs, okay?
For more information, go to aberdeen.sd.us. You can apply right online as well.
Thanks, Delilah. There's a job fair happening on March 7th at the Arc. It'll have information about summer jobs and people on hand to answer questions. We'll be right back after these messages created by media production students. Welcome back. With weather pushing so many games back this year, there's a lot to cover at the end of the season. Eagle Zone's Brian Johnson joins us with sports. Brian?
That's right, Courtney. As teams make up those disrupted games, Golden Eagle Arena hosted 3 basketball games in 4 days. We'll get to those highlights in a bit, but first, state wrestling and a new Golden Eagle state champion. Eagle Zone's Will Ewald joins us with details.
Both boys and girls wrestlers are back from the state tournament in Rapid City. We'll start on the girls' side, where we find the state champ you mentioned. Katrina Gibson pins her opponent in the 154-pound championship match to earn the title.
I got really excited. I think like the little childish me came out. I was just so happy. It's been a dream just to like get there.
I knew that she could dominate. She's been dominating all year. She's been winning in the most dominating fashion by pinning people. And that's kind of what we expected of her, that even if she gives up points, that she'll find a way to get her opponent to her back and that she'll pin them.
This is the juniors' first state title and the first ever for a Golden Eagle girl wrestler.
I think it'll really help the girls program grow, just getting our first state champion and only the third-year girls wrestling. That'll just really help a lot of girls see that, hey, even if I haven't wrestled for a while, I can still be a state champ and be a dominant wrestler, even if I join late.
Junior Madison Gillen made it to the semifinal round of the 113-pound weight class. She finished in 6th place. Moving over to the boys' side, the team took 6th place and Aberdeen had 3 wrestlers make it to the semifinal round. Mason Shrimp finished in 3rd place. The sophomore wrestler was 145. Senior heavyweight Jacob Krenz earns a 4th place finish. Junior Raiden Zenz has a strong season, but he suffered an injury in the state tournament on his way to the 3rd place match.
The inside part of my foot got caught with the mat, so when I pushed in, it kind of like made my foot go the wrong way, and it just pulled it back weird. And then I heard a pop, and then that was it.
That injury kept Zenz off the mat in his final 2 matches, but he had advanced far enough in the bracket to finish off the podium in 6th place.
Thanks, Will, and congratulations to Katrina. The boys basketball team played 2 home games Friday and Saturday. First, the Eagles hosted top-ranked Sioux Falls Jefferson. We picked this game up in the first. The Eagles moved the ball around before senior Carson Sarda puts one back for 2. Later in the first, junior Parker Lamar passes the ball to junior Camden Fouts, who drives down the middle and floats one for 2. Lastly, senior Spencer Barr lays one in, giving the Eagles their sixth point of the game. Aberdeen falls in this one, 47-86. On to the next game with Aberdeen hosting the Watertown Arrows. Early in the first, junior Parker Lamar passes the ball to senior Spencer Barr, who puts up a 3-pointer for the Eagles. Still in the first, senior Spencer Barr puts up a 3 and misses, but junior Cooper Eisenbeis was there for the rebound and the putback, giving the Eagles a 5-point lead. Late in the third, junior Cooper Eisenbeis misses a layup, and if you can't tell, that's me, Brian Johnson, with the rebound and the putback. The Eagles take this game 49-44. Now to girls basketball with the Eagles hosting Sioux Falls Roosevelt. Early in the first, the Eagles work the ball around before junior Grace Cook lays it up for their first points of the game. Next, we have an offensive and defensive play by the 8th grader Lauren Burkhardt. Junior Maddie Miller passes the ball to Burkhardt in the paint, who puts it up for 2. Soon after, Burkhardt gets a big block and gives the ball back to the Eagles. Early in the second, senior Taryn Heddick passes the ball to freshman Taryn Hermanson, who puts it in for 2, closing the gap between the Eagles and Rough Riders. The girls went on to lose this game 62-57. Basketball postseason starts this week with state tournament play in games Friday and Saturday. We'll share results on our next show. Jason?
Thanks, Brian. Now it's time for Max Jamie to share a recap of our stories in Spanish. Hola, Max. Bien atraerte a tu segmento atrás esta semana.
Gracias, Jason. Estas son las mejores historias de esta semana en español. El Distrito Escolar de Aberdeen está cambiando un programa diseñado para algunos estudiantes de educación especial. Algunos niños pueden permanecer en la escuela 3 años después de graduarse y aprender habilidades laborales. El tercer año de ese programa cambiará el próximo año, pero aún se encontrará en dar a los estudiantes habilidades laborales. Un estudiante de último año de Aberdeen va a Washington, D.C. para representar nuestro estado a través de un programa de estudiantes. Dustin Henderson es uno de los 2 estudiantes de Dakota del Sur en el programa juvenil. Estará en la capital de la nación durante una semana. Si estás buscando trabajo de verano, el Departamento de Parques y Recreaciones de Aberdeen está contratando y tiene una feria de empleo este mes. Con más información también puedes aplicar a través del sitio web de la ciudad.
Gracias, Max. The tradition continues this year in Central's library, so it's time to fill out your bracket to predict which book will come out on top. Eagles Own's Joseph Lopez Martinez joins us to explain this year's March Madness book bracket will look. Joseph?
There will be 4 different categories of books that make up this year's bracket. They're all basketball books. The categories are girls nonfiction, boys nonfiction, fiction books, and graphic novels. You have until March 3rd to fill out your bracket and predict who this year's winner will be. Like last year, there will be 3 divisions: individual, teacher, and super studies. The bracket will continue through March. One change from last year, you have to go to the library to fill out your bracket. Miss Archigo is ditching technology for the competition this year and having you fill it out on paper and pencil.
Thanks, Joseph. That's all for this episode of Eagle Zone. You can always watch our stories whenever you want by scrolling down to the Eagle Zone section of the school district website. That's aberdeen.k12.sd.us.
We leave you this week with a look at the snow with the latest winter storm left behind. With Eagle Zone, it's your boy, Jason Lopez Martinez.
And I'm Courtney Thorstensen. See you next week.